Welcome to Inside Games, the only channel brave enough to double dip on its own clickbait. That's right, we're doing it right now.
Yeah, ka-ching! Forget about that video from a few weeks ago. Forget about that. We got a new one with a new clickable headline.
Try this one on for size, viewers. Halo Infinite's release date got leaked. So it might come out this year, and it got leaked by donuts, no less.
Yeah, I mean, the release month got leaked, not really a date.
But come on, it is a donut, so what do you expect? Do you expect a specific date from a donut?
This all started last week. This was leading up to the Halo Infinite tech preview. Xbox Mexico's Twitter seemingly leaked the release window for the console-exclusive shooter in a promotional tweet with Krispy Kreme donuts.
The tweet, written in Spanish, roughly translates to, quote, "Why wait for November if we can start the festivities now?"
The tweet goes on to announce the limited edition Master Chief Donut, which went on sale July 30th.
How they got through that entire tweet without saying finish the bite, I'll never know. Guys, do you get it? Do you understand the joke? Finish the fight, finish the bite. You get it?
Amusingly, this actually isn't the first kind of coy reference we've heard to Halo Infinite's release date. Xbox head Phil Spencer gave an update on Halo Infinite's release window on the Dropped Frames podcast.
For us, we know kind of our range in the 3-4 week range. We don't have yet the exact day.
Spencer mentioned in the same interview that they will be more set on a specific date once more release dates are announced for other upcoming titles.
Interestingly, this isn't the first Xbox donut either.
Xbox also partnered with Krispy Kreme to sell the, this is ridiculous, the Nexus level donut in the UK and Ireland, meaning there have now been more Xbox donuts in the last half decade than Halo games.
Perfection. So, Infinite's long development time may finally all be coming together, though, as many Halo fans found the game's tech preview a really positive sign for the game's direction.
It did not start that way, though. I can attest to that. The Halo Infinite tech preview ran from Thursday, July 29th to Monday, August 2nd, and lived up to its name with a few tech issues at the start.
Code emails went out to players on July 27th, so people were ready to jump in once the preview started on the 29th. However, it seems the servers weren't quite as ready to go.
Let me tell you, Lawrence, when I got that email on the 27th, I was like, bang, they're ahead of it? They're gonna send me that code? I'm ready to go. And then on the day it was supposed to happen, I was sitting there refreshing my email being like, where's the code? How come the code hasn't come in?
Yeah, you canceled a lot of very important things for that.
I honestly, like eating Nexus level donuts.
Perfection.
Due to an unknown issue, 343 Industries community director Brian Gerard shared on Twitter that 343 needed to undergo a, quote, full global server redeploy, which apparently fixed the issue we didn't even know about in the first place.
Well, it seems like at this point, maybe Halo Infinite's kind of like the car I drove in high school. It takes a while to get her going. Sometimes you got to kick it downhill, but man, once she's in motion, nothing could stop her.
Except for that ladder that I hit on the freeway in my car from high school. There was literally a ladder just in the middle of the freeway that I hit, and that for sure stopped my car.
Jeez, that sounds terrifying.
It was incredibly terrifying, and I'm sure it screwed up the car that I had. Unlike both of our cars, it seems that Halo Infinite actually really managed to impress expectant Halo fans.
The tech preview's features, they were pretty, and get ready for this one. Spartan. Perfection.
Yeah, it only offered Slayer matches against bots across 3 maps and a gun range that let you test out the game's weapons.
Although 343 did a solid late into the tech alpha, they actually extended the runtime a bit and enabled full PvP matchmaking, otherwise known as Arena Slayer in Halo, for a few hours.
Yeah, like we said, even though the preview was only against bots, the reception seemed largely positive. A lot of people were really into the gameplay, including me, by the way. I really had a total blast playing it. Maybe I was not caught up with Halo 4 and 5, but it felt like, this is gonna sound weird, but it felt like Halo, but also like a new shooter. So it felt like Apex or COD, but then also Halo. They'd kind of mashed all those features together, so it felt like something that I had played recently, but it was Halo.
That's really cool. That is kind of the problem that Halo Infinite has to confront. It has to be like Halo, but Halo was also like really old shooters that have sort of been iterated on and kind of fundamentally changed since then. So, man, landing the dart in the middle of that board seems impossible, but it seems like they're getting close.
PC Gamer's Natalie Clayton writes, quote, "Playing the technical test has convinced me Halo Infinite is great. Appreciating the focused weapon design, chaotic physics system, and new movement options like the slide, like I said, from Apex."
Clayton summarizes by saying that the preview is a strong indication that Halo Infinite, quote, recognizes what makes Halo distinctly Halo, a throwback to Bungie's greats while acknowledging where shooters have gone in the last 10 years.
It's weird because I had that feedback long before I read any of the script or anything like that today, and I don't know how they did it, Lawrence, but they landed that dart. They really did.
I have to admit, I'm kind of dispassionate about Halo because to me, it does represent this era of floaty console shooters. When, I mean, Bruce, we were playing Tribes back in the day. It's kind of hard to roll it back to Halo after something like that. And even now, not to be, like, I kind of see it sitting next to Battlefield 2042, and I'm just like, it still seems like it's just smaller scale and slower. But it sounds like they're modernizing it quite a bit, so I'm really curious to see what that mix is like.
Gamertag Radio's Danny Pena tweeted, Halo Infinite is so good, while Benji Sales on Twitter went a little more in-depth saying gameplay is the best of any 343 Halo, art design is great, new weapons feel good, and map design is incredibly solid. Lots of people were really positive about this tech test.
Infinite managed to impress on a technical level too. Eurogamer's Digital Foundry broke down the game's performance for each Xbox console as well as PC, and the results were good across the board.
Infinite held 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S just fine, but both consoles struggled a bit when it came to hitting 120 frames a second. The Series X ranged between 100 to 120 frames a second at any given time, while the Series S surprisingly had a more stable frame rate, despite having a weaker CPU than its big brother, the Series X.
The numbers go a bit downhill when you look at the last generation Xboxes, as you might imagine. Halo Infinite is locked at 30 FPS on the Xbox One X at 4K resolution, with Digital Foundry noting that this also accompanied some frame pacing issues. A little drop here and there.
Yeah, the Xbox One S can run the game, though obviously not at 4K resolution. Same story as the Xbox One X as well, with some frame drops here and there, like we said.
Bizarrely, the beefiest beef daddy of them all, the PC, seemed to struggle even getting consistent 60 FPS performance, though Digital Foundry noted that the preview wasn't, quote, utilizing the hardware properly. They did note at the end that they did achieve a steady 60 FPS frame rate after turning on driver-level VSync.
Oh, you know what? The game's not working right on your PC. You just root around in Windows, tick those random options till it finally starts humming along, or explodes like when New World burned out a bunch of video cards. So, you never know what will happen. Perfection. You never know what will happen on PC. And now we wait until the game finally comes out, which according to Krispy Kreme, should be around November.
I could probably eat a fair amount of X donuts between then and now.
Master Chunk, we need you to finish the bite.
Now it's time for the bum out. I'm gonna be a jerk for a second. I think this is actually the way that they did this demo. I have a little theory about this. It's a bit conspiratorial, but I think this demo served way more purposes than just being a tech demo, like most demos do.
Okay.
So my theory is this, all right? And I'm saying this despite one, like I said before, not explicitly being a Halo fan, and two, not even playing the tech preview. So throw my opinion in the trash right now. But here's my opinion. People like winning games. They love it. They have way more fun when they're winning, and they want to keep playing games that they're winning at. Mobile games have made like a whole practice out of learning when a player's going to bounce and then rewarding them with things and victories and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is that it was a really smart idea to have everyone's first impressions playing Halo Infinite to be against a bunch of easy bots that just let them wreck house. Just have nonstop slaughterfest. Because I watched a few streams, that's basically what I saw. And when you're beasting in Halo, it feels awesome. And you're like, this is the best Halo game ever made. I don't play anything else because this is great. The guns are great, balance is great, hook shot's great, love it all. But you wait until a human player learns all the tricks and knows how to like exploit every little weapon imbalance, and suddenly Halo Infinite may not be so fun. And you may not want to play it so much. I think that so there's a lot of technical reasons it makes sense they deployed it this way. This is the first time Halo's had bots.
Yeah.
And being a new feature, it makes sense you want as much info about it as you can get. So, there's a bunch of logistic reasons they did it like this, but also, I don't know that you would get quite the positive buzz if it were players in there tearing each other apart and trying to win versus bots that let you get nice skill shots and the announcers telling you how cool you are the whole time.
Lawrence, I played about 3 hours of this thing. I really enjoyed it. Twitch chat was loving it when I was playing. I looked like I got a bunch of beast shots. And then when I was done with that stream, I said, that was only because I was shooting bots over and over and over, was why I felt like I was doing well and it felt good. So I 100% agree with you. I knew that if I had been playing multiplayer, at least it would have felt kind of like we were on even playing field because we both just started the video game, even if we were playing, multiplayer against real people. But this just felt better. Once they release actual multiplayer for Halo, and then you go back to shooting bots, everyone's gonna be like, whoa, what a pussy. So I totally think that your theory is well-founded. And I played the game and enjoyed it. So I do not disagree with you at all.
Well, here's another dark and deep rabbit hole for you to tumble down, Bruce. And in my gamer mind zone.
All right.
So you mentioned that like a lot of mobile games, a lot of battle royales, the first time you play, they'll throw you in a match full of bots, and you'll get a victory, and then you'll be like, this game's great, because they don't want you to get bumped by a player and boot out of the game. I theorize that mentality is going to start breaking down per game session. So you come home, you start playing Halo Infinite, you eat a bad loss straight up. They might put you in a match like with half bots, half people, just to feed you a win to keep you playing.
Absolutely.
It seems like nobody seems to care that games don't tell you when you're playing against bots or people.
Which is weird.
I feel like that's... Yeah, everyone's just like, hey, who cares? I'm shooting it. So I thought people would be a little more weirded out by bots being on the verge of changing or altering the multiplayer experience. I don't know. I can see that stuff coming. Now with matchmaking rating and stuff like that, it gets a little trickier about how they might use bots or invented players to keep you playing a game. But it's something to start thinking about. I think it's something to start watching for.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start seeing a lot of the techniques used in mobile games that just sort of like make serotonin explode in your head. We're going to see a lot of those start proliferating up to AAA multiplayer experiences.
We saw reports months ago, I think maybe even years ago, about how EA was doing that. Like they had started patenting the fact that they were going to drop bots into actual matches with real life people and then not tell you. And then when EA was called on it, they were like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So clearly they had already started development on it. That's something that Lawrence, you and I talked about years ago when we were always doing news. You know, like, why does nobody care about this? I don't mind if we're all playing against bots. That's fun. I think that's fun if we're all talking about how we are playing against bots, and that's essentially what Back 4 Blood is. You're playing against the AI, and people seem to enjoy it. But it's sprinkling it in with the real players that it starts to kind of ride a weird line.
Most people just want to play a multiplayer game and have fun, and if they walk away feeling like they had fun, no harm, no foul.
It's true.
But I respect the hallowed institution of getting my asshole torn apart playing Halo. I want a 12-year-old who is just a phenom to get home from school, forget everything they just learned about circles, and teach me humility in Halo. And if there's bots there to catch me, it won't feel the same.
Well, good news, Lawrence. In November, you're going to have that chance to get your asshole torn apart over and over and over. And it'll be live on Twitch, on twitch.tv/SureLar. And you'll never play it again. Yeah, you'll never play it again.
Perfection.